Everyone. So I am 5 minutes late to my own show. But that's okay. Since it's cold here now. So we had 2 days of 70-degree weather, and then it's raining and it's back in, I don't know if it's the low 60s right now, but it's definitely not tank top weather, not in my house anyway. But happy Friday. I am, this is going to be a true vulnerable conversation today, because it is going to be just about my natural state of being that I think is part of the process of transformation. But it's also going to start giving you guys a tune, or getting you more in tune with what I've been working on, because the releases are going to be starting to come soon. And this particular space will evolve into something more engaging. So I really want to start by engaging you with something I feel like maybe a lot of people can relate to, but we don't really talk about, which is needing to take a flippin' chill pill sometimes. Show of hands, anyone who's ever been told that, thought that to themselves. Take a chill pill. Really, and a chill pill being not in reference to any type of medication or, it literally could be a Xanax if that's something that you're prescribed. I don't necessarily recommend that long term, but I know it's necessary in some regard, because I feel it as someone who helps other people get through, the quote unquote needing a chill pill. It's a lot. It's a lot to also hear that too. And I was so focused this week on things are coming together. It was actually a really good week. It wasn't, and taking a chill pill doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad week or needing to chill out, right? Being overwhelmed is not a negative thing sometimes. It's sometimes actually having so many good things happening that it can create pressure, but also for some people, it can trigger a lot of self-defeating thought processes. For some people, this was actually, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about what happened in a session with one of my clients, and then also a couple of solutions, and then ultimately talking about the grounding concept of how to, when we need this chill pill, when we really need to just have a moment, how do you do that? And how to use mindfulness as that approach, and some different strategies and techniques to how to incorporate those into your day-to-day life. So, because I'm coming off no one knows that I'll be 5 minutes late, but I'm letting you know, but I came into this live with I had just done my hair. I was I need to get there. I need to get here on time. But I brought a lot of just energy, and I don't know if y'all can see this with my background, but this energy of it's a little shaky. And I could tell that it was happening. So here's something that you guys, when we were working on awareness, right? Of okay, I don't need a chill pill. Why are people telling me to just chill out? Because that pissed me off. When someone told me to chill, I was like, I am chilled. What are you talking about? I could have been a little chiller. I could. Because the thing is that people can sense energy. Whether you realize you're sensing energy or not, people can sense energy, and their reaction to your energy ultimately ends up coming back to you. So it's your responsibility to really be mindful of your energy, so you know how to help people reinforce what's yours and what's theirs, so it doesn't come back to you and it be theirs on you, and then you blame them for being the negative energy. Did y'all catch that? If not, that's where rewind, because I don't often am not able to repeat myself, but I can sum it up in this thought I had yesterday, which hopefully y'all can relate to. I'm only responsible for my reaction to people, not people's reaction to me. I'm only responsible for my reaction to people, towards people, not their reaction to me. And so how this really applies here is when we generate energy of something that we're going through, a stressor that's not even related, we're responsible for that reaction going out towards people, whether it's about them or not. So that's where a lot of people, I think, get caught up and where a lot of social anxieties can come from, is because we're not mindful of even just the positive overwhelm that we feel. I had a really good week, but it was a lot of overwhelming, a mixture of like good stress and bad stress. That because I wasn't paying as much attention to it, because I just kept going, let me get work done, let me do this, that leaves me susceptible to reacting to someone else who would absorb that energy. And a lot of this, so as an example, happened within my meeting with my assistant, because bless her heart, she can keep up, but she's not responsible for my reaction that comes out towards her. But it ends up putting her in a position to be responsible now, because it makes her feel like, oh shit, what did I do? Or I don't actually know how it affects her, but I can tell it affects her because it affects me, because I'm picking up on the return from what ultimately I put out there. So if I'm not mindful of my energy towards something else or something that's on my plate, or just letting her know that I have a lot of overwhelm and it's coming out through my tone, it's coming out through this, I'm not going to be able to do what really needs to be done, which is pause. Time, urgency gets created out of that dynamic. Our relationship with time comes from the immense amount of moments like I just had to slow down, to really connect with, like, why am I moving this fast? Is it necessary for me to move this fast? You'll find now there's some quick decisions that we have to make, but you'll find a lot of the time, guys, that it is not that important to move that quickly all the time. And I'm bad for it. I've had my bouts with it, and I tried to learn from, I'm coming off a season of a lot of transition, loss, healing, and I let that sense of time urgency get the best of me, and then I got sick. That was lesson enough, and I'm really trying to learn this lesson of, like, time is completely based upon how fast I'm moving, not everyone else. When I make a request, that in turn like a request of someone else's time, that becomes their responsibility to have a relationship with their own time. And then also becomes my responsibility of how it meshes together. Because my sense of time, my relationship with time is not going to convert over to the person's sense of time. And that's one of the most common, I think, point break. I don't know if that's the right word, but common point breaks for a lot of people in our relationships, not only with other people, but with our relationship with ourselves, is the relationship with time, and how our perception of time meshes with someone else's perception of time. It comes down to control, comes down to feeling. It comes down to being mindful and aware, because that is really all you can do if you can't correct it in the moment, is be mindful of it, so you can at least acknowledge that someone else is experiencing this, because it's you experiencing it. Before you can acknowledge someone else experiencing it, it implies that you have to be willing and honest to say, yeah, oh, maybe I need a chill pill. I needed a chill pill today. I needed to chill out, and I'm going to, but it's because I have so many good things coming that it's gotten me overwhelmed with excitement. That's energy, the same type of energy that an anger emotion would produce. An excitement emotion can produce that and propel you into like, all right, let's go and get excited and like, that's not now sometimes that's a little different than not trusting. You can totally trust exciting things, but allowing it to propel you too far into the outside of the moment, that's where other people start telling me like, yo, Sarah, you need a chill pill. And I'm like, oh, yep. So this is also going to be a fun time because this is a time where I can introduce you to my chill pill. And it is typically, I don't like to promote a whole lot of products to help people de-escalate. So I'm going to give you a free version and I'm going to give you something that you can buy because I think this actually has become a product that I really value in my life because it brings in my senses for me and I don't have to be responsible for bringing all the senses in on my own and risking distracting myself from actually what I need to do, which is take a chill pill. So I'm going to start with Calmigo. So if you guys see Calmigo, they reached out to me and they're like, hey, we got this product that, as a therapist, I teach people grounding skills. I teach people emotional regulation skills. And when I say people, I mean, I tend to speak a lot more towards high functioning, attention deficit, anxiety, depression based clients, because that is just the clientele that I end up working with. And so Calmigo, I felt like has become a very good tool to use to help people on the go, whether it's mentally or actually in their life, to be on the go and have something that truly helps ground them while you're anywhere. Now, I'd start doing that. I'll do the free version afterwards, but Calmigo sent me this little contraption. So if y'all see it, oops. So it looks like a little inhaler. It's a little inhaler. And what they do is you can buy these, I'll take it off for you, hopefully. So these little things here, they're little clips that have aromatherapy on them. And so what you do is I'm going to turn it on. I feel like this lighting is messing up. Let me see if this lighting helps. It's a little bit better. So you can kind of see that there is a light on. Okay. And you breathe, because the breath that we have in our lungs is the one thing that's always going to go with us to any stressful situation. And it's always typically going to be with us outside of a stressful situation. So being able to control your breathing is pertinent to how you take a chill pill. Your breath is your chill pill. So what I love about Calmigo is that it can really go with you to prompt you, because for my clients, I'm usually the prompt. Activate that central nervous system to really take it and be like, hey, we need to pull it in. We need to calm down. Calmigo is that thing that kind of helps prompt you to be able to calm down. So I'm going to take a chill pill right here with y'all right now because I haven't done it yet. I've just been talking about it, which can kind of de-escalate things. So it's pretty easy. It mimics the inhale through your nose. I still encourage people to hold at the top of your box breath, because that is what helps kind of shock your central nervous system into like getting you back in control. And then exhale through your mouth. If you've ever had like respiratory therapy after having like a lung inflammation episode or some kind of bronchial thing, it's kind of like a respiratory exercise because it monitors how much force of an exhale that you have and will not calculate, it doesn't really do much math, but the buttons will light up. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. So this smell, the aromatherapy that's on here, is a bergamot smell. So it's a little bit citrusy, but they also have a lavender one, and this is going to go really well for how I use this within my sleep routine as well. So this Calmigo is really good right now for, I can throw it in my purse. I'm going to turn it off so I don't run out the battery. I can throw it in my purse. It does collect dirt a little bit because this plastic silicone thing, but that's why I have this really great little bag. Anyways, and it can just go in there and I can throw it in my purse, and then that way I can have a prompt for myself to really focus on my breathing, focus on how I become more aware of just the moment that I'm in, and that my energy doesn't start dispersing itself to other people and getting away from me, because that's ultimately what I don't want. I don't want people to be overwhelmed by my overwhelm. And that is, for someone like me, it's a very important thing, because I in turn go influence people as a therapist. I go into my sessions and my clients are coming to me to be helped with this. It doesn't mean that I can't not have like my own anxiety and my own overwhelm and my own stress. It just, for me to be able to do what I do, I have to know when I'm overwhelmed, and I have to know when I have something on my chest, and it's going to influence and potentially bias the scenario that they're going through. Now, sometimes that can actually be really helpful, because for me, I've been able to do a lot of the work that I do in terms of transformation because I am helping other people all day. It has held me accountable to making sure that at the end of my day, I go through and I kind of reflect on like, all right, what did I experience today? How does that apply in my life? And what do I need to do, and how am I going to do it to implement it in my life? So that's why I say I'm lucky, is because I ended up in this profession of, helping people, and I made a career out of it. And it was really also the one thing that saved my life in terms of how I am held accountable, because I hold other people accountable when they come to me. And I really am truly grateful for that. But I also have to make sure I remind my clients that when they don't get and practice these skills as much as I do and get the results that I do, it's because they're not necessarily doing what I've done for the last 4 years. And that's where the focus on emotional regulation really comes to be one of those foundational skills before all the other skills come in, is making sure that you can control the energy that you produce. You don't necessarily, and actually, let me rephrase that. You can harness the energy that you produce, because you can't control it being produced. You can only learn to like be on autopilot, to be like, oh, emotional reaction, energy produced. Let me harness that so it can go and, be categorized and put away and organized as much as possible. And that's a big one, because the thing is like, even big emotions, like the core emotions, there can be exhausting sometimes. I'm exhausted from being excited this week. Does that make sense? Like, how many people have been exhausted for like overwhelmingly good things? Like, and I'm grateful, but it also is actually, it's exactly what's happening on this screen right now, is that the app that I've been working on, that I've told no one about until this moment, has finally released. And now I have to really put myself out there for y'all and say, hey, this is what I've been doing. This is what I believe works. And here it is. I told myself I actually wasn't going to do that today, but I think I set myself up with these settings because they just popped up on the screen and now it's recorded and now I can't take it back. So let me show you the free version. If you don't, as great as Calmigo is, if you do not want to buy something, because I didn't do this whole transformation with Calmigo. I got Calmigo like 2 months ago or even a month ago, and it wasn't a part of my life when I did this transformation. So I'm going to tell you what was. I'm going to tell you this is like my biggest secret, but it's not a secret because I don't keep secrets like that. So, but it's box breathing. And then it's not only just the skill of box breathing or just diaphragmatic breathing or mindful breathing, it's where you place it too. I'm going to give you a little bit of a hint, and then I'm also going to lay it out for you in the app that I have put together, which is released technically, but I'm also looking for only a couple of people to integrate into using the app so I can make sure that it's functional for the masses. So I am looking for about 3 more people who are interested in diving and working with me to get this app in a working order so I can bring it to y'all full stream and steadfast to the rest of the people who could benefit from it in the mental health community. So, box breathing. Now, we can do this a couple of different ways. I tell people to count based off of what makes them comfortable. So, and I use a 3, 4, 5 count. So inhale for 3, hold for 4, exhale through your mouth for 5 seconds. Now, one of you can do the basic box breathing with no activation of your senses, but this is where and why Calmigo is so beneficial is because it brings in more senses, which are also possible for you to bring in on your own as well if you don't want to spend the money on a Calmigo, right? So we've got 5 senses: smell, touch, taste, sight, hearing, and hearing. So you can activate each one of those senses while you do the breathing. The touch and taste is a little bit hard. I tell people usually you can compromise one of the senses and you can still get the same impact, but try it just naturally first. Try inhale for 3, hold for 4, exhale for 5 with no other senses attached. So I'm going to do that real quick, okay? Another point here too is that when you inhale, you want to fill your stomach up with that air. So you want your stomach to kind of expand out, and when you exhale, you want to kind of pull it in a little bit so you bring out all that oxygen that you had inhaled. So that was 1 round. I tell people to do 3 of those rounds, take a short break of natural breathing, and then do 2 more rounds with a break in between each set of 3. So I'm going to give you an example of bringing in touch to it, because what I do is for my counts, I actually use my, what's this thing called? Heartbeat. I use my jugular vein because that's where I can feel a strong heartbeat. I use my heartbeat as the metronome of the count. If you don't know what a metronome is, it keeps your count for when you're playing piano. So I'm going to be using my heartbeat as the count indicator, okay? So I'm going to inhale for 3, hold for 4, exhale for 5. So now I want to just put this disclaimer here. This may have immediate effect for you. It may take a couple of rounds, and then it will take practice for you to get into your routine of having this as a skill. but the more senses that you activate, the more mindful you become in the practice. So here, my heartbeat is kind of an unstable count to me, just counting, but I'm also now paying attention to, I don't know if y'all saw, I was trying to count with my fingers, but I was also a little bit delayed, and it had me paying attention more to the sense than it did my mind paying attention to the things that had me overwhelmed. Okay. So then what other smells do I have? I guess I can use the Calmigo smell. You can bring smell into it. If you want to hold this, because it's going to have me hold this. I also recommend having people put a little bit of like a essential oil right underneath the part of your nose, not in your nose, just right underneath the part. So then that way you don't have to actually hold anything to smell it while you're doing this. Then for sound, I encourage, for best practice, okay, frequencies, salvaggio frequencies, or any kind of spiritual bowls, healing, that they emit a certain frequency that can match with the degree and the frequency that your body is producing energy in an anxious state, and can also help regulate at the same time that you are controlling your breathing. So those things, right? Like Calmigo is really good for touch, smell, and then bringing the breathing in. So if anything, 3, I have a belief in 3. I don't know if y'all see the logo there. There's a reason that it's a triangle, because 3 is is one of the strongest shapes in the world of shapes, is a triangle. And it's because it has that base, and then it creates that foundation. So if you can activate at least 3 senses while you're doing this breathing technique, I really strongly believe that it will actually help de-escalate not only your central nervous system, but the scenario, and ultimately you. It takes some time to remember that this is a tool that you have. But I can tell you why I believe so much in it is because, as much as I love Calmigo coming up, when I used to work in the prison system, you don't get Calmigos in prison. You don't get spa days in prison. You don't get healing oils in prison. If anything, the smell of prison, it's not that much. No, just no. So I had to teach a lot of people, and I had to come up with something that really worked. And first of all, I didn't come up with this. This is actually a military Navy SEAL training technique that helps people de-escalate, soldiers de-escalate in battle after experiencing a lot of overwhelming, dysregulating to the central nervous system traumas, like battle and combat and war. It is a lot. And prison does a pretty similarly the same thing, honestly, and it makes a whole lot of sense to feel like you've been at war if you've been in prison, because it is literally about survival in there. And so I would have to, the same thing with jail and prison, a little different, but I started this, actually, no, I'm sorry, let me revise my own story here. I started this in the jail system because when I was working in the prison system, it is probably why it influenced my application of this with people when I was doing brief solution-focused mental health stuff in the jail system, is because I had already seen the degree of overwhelm and trauma that the prison system can produce. People who go in jail, not everyone goes to prison, but they have a very good likely chance that they're going to go somewhere. They can't bring all of the fancy things that help us cope. They can't, well, technically they could probably get online. And a lot of them have cell phones. But here nor there, you can't use just an app anywhere you are. What if you don't have cell phone service? What if you lose your cell phone? What if there are all these what ifs. You're always going to have you. And so when you can learn how to harness this energy that you produce by activating your breath, and I think now in today's day and age, breath work has been talked about so much as why it's important, and that's what therapy teaches. But I also feel like not enough people come to therapy to really get the insights about why this is important. So when you can bring this this skill to you. You can, whether it's you mastering it or you see someone else who know and care about someone else who's going through something, you can help them use this technique and to bring them down and to ground them. Your senses are very grounding, so being able to activate that with certain things that will help calm you down. There's your chill pill. That is my chill pill as a therapist. There's a lot of other chill pills, but I actually don't take medication like that. So it is literally my breath. So whether it is a Calmigo and you have something to prompt you taking these breaths, to take your chill pill, even on a good, exciting week, you still need it. It's going to go with you everywhere. So I'm just going to leave you with a little bit of a challenge here, okay? I'm going to leave you with the challenge of seeing how many times you can remember to stop and breathe and do a cycle of that box breathing, whether you're looking for it to have a relief or whether or not you just need to practice it because you know it's going to help you in the long run. I want you guys to see how many times, let's maybe not necessarily a week, let's say in the next 3 days this weekend, because you guys, this is a Friday. If you see this video on whether it's today or in the next 24 hours, you only have traditionally 2 days before you have to kind of decompress, recharge before you're right back at it in the standard week. See how many times you can remember throughout the next 3 days. Stop. Even if it's just once. I try to tell you, see if you can get to about 3 of those and then take a break and breathe naturally. But let's see how many times you can do it. I want you to comment too if you think about it at the end. Come back to this video, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and tell me in the comments how many times were you able to stop and breathe. And if you guys are interested in getting a Calmigo, I do have a code. It will be linked in the description of this video on YouTube or on Facebook and Instagram. And buy one, and you can, I think it's about $30 you get off, or 30%, I can't remember. But it's a really good prompt. It may be worth the investment for you to help remember how valuable this breath work can be for you. Okay? Because I do swear by the free version. I swear by it, especially, here's your other little free tip if you've made it this long. Doing this as a sleep initiation, getting to sleep to help calm your mind down, it will help you sleep immensely better. And that's coming as a challenge soon, but I will talk about that next week. Okay? So your challenge this week is, how many times can you stop and just practice breathing to bring yourself and ground yourself in the moment? And then give me an example. I'd love to hear about, how did you guys activate your senses? Did you use perfumes? Did you use lotions, oils? Did you use music and the frequencies? Let me know, because I would love to give more of these examples to the clients that I do help. And I'm super interested to see if this technique actually does help people. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, you can always take your chill pill anywhere you go, and it's completely up to you to slow down. Just because you're walking faster doesn't mean that you're going to get there faster, okay? All right, I'm going to go take a little bit more of my chill pill. I think something has to do with like the weather right now. Oh, I was like, I want a sunny day. I had a sunny day the last 2 days, but I'm going to finish my work, and I'm going to, take some time to relax, because I've had a really good week, but it was also a very overstimulating week. And that's what I'm going to do this weekend. And I still got to work. These are the moments that we have to create for ourselves, because we are so responsible for everything. We're providers. We got to keep going, but make those small moments for yourself. Okay. Peace. I'll see you next week, 10 a.m. Fridays, Eastern Standard Time.